Welcome everybody. BNB stake. What's going on? So the other day I put out a video. My community shared that video. Some of them shared their own insights in addition about BNB stake. And I think I made a mistake when I shared the news about BNB stake. And the mistake that I made was I think I overemphasized that there could be people behind this that do shenanigans. Now, listen, there could be people behind this that can do shenanigans, but upon deeper analysis, I would say that there's much less of a likelihood of that. Now, remember, with these smart contracts, for those that are brand new to crypto, just think of them as robots that have to do what they were programmed to do. They have to pay the way they're supposed to pay. They can't do any shenanigans. They have to follow the logic that's promised, and they get audited. Now, this one was audited, this smart contract, to make sure, see, audits are common with smart contracts to make sure that there's no back doors, that there's no code that's hidden in there, or maybe somebody could sneak in like a back door and steal the crypto. And I had talked about that in my previous videos and really, I think, overemphasized that as a possible concern on the heels of Beurax and some other programs that ran off of people's cryptocurrency. So I really wanted to be careful about people jumping into this that kind of follow me, even though if you had jumped into this, you would have made a ton of money by now. And and that's the tough thing with these things, is you never exactly know for sure unless you can trust the auditor of these smart contracts and make sure it's a smart contract. Now, if we're talking about Beurax, I know some of you know Beurax, that was more of a Ponzi scheme. And so I thought I would take a little bit more time to clarify how to categorize these things and how to assess the risk. Now, full disclosure, I'm not going to share an affiliate link of my own on this, even though I know I'd make a little money if I did. And the reason for that is I don't want there to be any misunderstanding about where my focus is at, because I have thrown quite a bit of BNB into this thing. And when I throw a lot of BNB into this and I put my affiliate link, then that might look like I'm encouraging those of you, who follow my advice into this. And I don't want you to end up losing crypto and have that jeopardize, you following my advice in the future, because the advice that I am really buckling down on right now are programs that have a lot of value behind them to go the test of time. So those are projects like, Peak DeFi, and you can see like it's adding up. It's giving me this free token because I'm staking this. This is something that's on real exchanges and they're building real value. There was also energy. I've made 50 grand last week in energy. I'm making tons of Peak, which I'm trading for BNB every other day with this one. And I don't want people, as I talk about this, I just want you to know, yes, I have a lot of BNB in this. Like I put 181 BNB, a good little amount. Not as much maybe for me as it is for many listening, because I have a system that allows me to generate a lot of Ethereum on a daily basis that I can then turn into different types of crypto to play around in programs like this. And I want to talk about that maybe a little bit later today, or you can reach out to us at the link below and talk to someone on my team about that, because it works really, really well. And so when I put, BNB into this program, or when I exchanged Ethereum a couple of weeks ago for energy and then made 50 grand in that, or like exchanged BNB for Peak token, these more longer term type staking projects. And now I'm making Peak that I can exchange for Ethereum or BNB. In that, I'm not really risking as much as some people will. And I was able to put a little bit, of the, I put 181 BNB into this because it's not as big of a risk for me. So again, I'm not going to put my link below to this. If you want to join it, do a YouTube search and you can throw some money into it, but I'm not putting my link here because I don't want any of you that are following my advice about Peak DeFi, about energy, to get confused that somehow it's similar. And then, if you get into this, because this is higher risk BNB stake than anything else that I would ever recommend. And so even though I'm playing in it, I don't want anyone to take that risk thinking that I'm, leading you into it because I put my link here, and then you get into it and then you don't get into other things that really could make you a fortune like these, or the Ethereum smart contract where I'm generating most of my ETH to put in projects like this. Like, I don't want it to prevent you from plugging into that because you did this. So with all that said, let's categorize this a little bit. So this is not a Ponzi. A Beurax was a Ponzi. It's important to understand the difference. USI Tech back in 2017 was a Ponzi. Cash FX, don't get mad at me, CFXers, is a Ponzi. And I'm not, just because something's a Ponzi doesn't mean it's evil. Although I would like to underscore that Ponzi's are fraud. And that's why I don't like Ponzi's, because they're deceptive. This is not a Ponzi. So a Ponzi is like Beurax, where they're saying that they're investing the money and that's how they're paying the high yields. And a lot of people believe them. I know when I looked at Beurax, I knew it was a Ponzi, and I told everybody, look, this is like not what they're saying it is. Nonetheless, if you want to do it, you can do it as a game. But I still, I don't like those, and I'm not going to promote those ever again, because people can do shenanigans. The people behind them are deceptive by nature. It's a Ponzi. They're telling you that they're investing a certain way, and that's how they're paying the yields, and it's not the case. And people like that are going to put energy into creating a project around that much deception are probably the same types of people who are going to pull the rug out from underneath you and run off with your crypto. And it's exactly what happened with CryptoWare recently. It's exactly what happened with Wiseling. It's exactly what happened with Beurax. So, that's a Ponzi, and it's based on deception, on making you think that they're making money one way to pay the yields. And they, in Beurax's case, they had actors and all kinds of stuff. It's just probably not a good group to get tied up with, right? Hand your crypto over. People have made a lot of money with them if they got them in early, but it's a Ponzi. It's different. They're pretending it's an investment scheme, and they describe where the investment is happening, but it's not true. They're just making money from the new people coming in. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with a pyramid scheme per se, which is different from a Ponzi. A pyramid scheme is when they're honest about what's happening, and you as an adult decides you want to play the game. See, that's not fraud. That's not deception. That's different. And so, and that's what this is. It's a game. It's a game. It's a high stakes game, and so you see here, like I have 181 BNB that I put in here. And if you notice, like if you put 181 into this one here, it's going to turn into 468. And it pays. I've been taking it out. I got 25.079. And if we look at this, if I hit refresh, in fact, it kind of just ticks up even on its own. It just keeps growing. We'll check that a little bit later today. So I could take that out right now. I've done it many times. I'm going to let it add up in here, just let it sit there, because I've been taking it out so many times. I already trust the process. I trust this smart contract. Does that mean that there couldn't be a back door in the code secretly hidden somewhere where people could come pull off some shenanigans and take all the crypto out? It's possible, but I would say by this stage of the game, it's been around long enough and it is audited. And I've talked to people who have been around the industry, and it has a very good reputation. In fact, some of you have heard of Tron Stake. They called out Tron Stake. They audited Tron Stake and said it was good. And then before Tron Stake launched, they reneged it. They came back and said, wait, we found something suspicious. And lo and behold, Tron Stake launched, and they did pull some shenanigans with their smart contract. And so this company that did the auditing, which is, I think they're called Hayes. Let's look at this really quick. So Hayes Security that did this audit, they've got somewhat of a good reputation now after the Tron Stake debacle, because they had audited it and then they retracted before Tron Stake launched and says, we just found something shady in the smart contract we didn't catch. Lo and behold, Tron Stake went and ran off people's crypto. They had called it. Kind of cool. It gives them a good reputation. So they audited this and they said it's a legit smart contract. And if it is, and again, I got to underscore, if there's no 100% way of knowing that it didn't miss something, but that gives them a good reputation based on that track record with Tron Stake. And they are getting well known and really seem to be wanting to build a really good reputation in the industry. Now, you got to be careful because somebody could come out with a smart contract and say, hey, we're audited by Tron Stake, and take that document, that audit, right, and tweak it and make it look like, so you got to, sometimes you have to let a program be you want to be in early, people think, but there's also the other side of it where you know, it's nice to be in it long enough where if they were doing some shenanigans like lying about being audited, it would have been caught by now, and Hayes Security would have come out and said so. So I think this one's legit, knowing that there's always that caveat, that's possibility, you know, that the audit missed something. But being that Hayes Security has done a pretty good job so far of building a solid reputation, and in that example with what they did with Tron Stake, which ended up running off with people's crypto, and they called it. Uh, you know, it tells me that this probably is a legitimate smart contract, and what that means is, first of all, it's not a Ponzi. They're not saying that they're paying these high yields from some wacky, awesome algorithm they have in the trading space. No, it is what it is. It's coming from other people that are putting their money into it. It's a game, and it's honest about that fact. So I just wanted to be clear, because when I first made my videos, I was really overemphasizing perhaps the risk from the standpoint there could be shenanigans like we saw in Beurax. And I didn't really take the time to make the distinction between a Ponzi and a pyramid. I would call this a pyramid, but so is fiat currency, so is our banking system, so are student college loans. And so a pyramid in and of itself doesn't matter. The question is, how sustainable is the pyramid? And if you look at this, these are actually rising, the 8.5%. I think this started at 8% or something like that when it first opened earlier this month, and it ticks up about 0.5% a day. And so this keeps increasing. So the sustainability of it long-term isn't there, because this is going to get up to like 70%, 80%. And it's just going to get crazy, right? When it's paying those kinds of returns, there has to be funds in the contract. But the fact that the funds are holding stable, the fact that you can look at the contract on the blockchain, you can see everything coming in, everything coming out. It's all 100% transparent. You can see all of this stuff. You can go to analytics. You can analyze all of this stuff, and you can gather what you will. Now, some people say, "Oh, it's gonna go down." Not necessarily, guys. There's lots of instances where something kind of levels out, and then it takes off again. And this has that potential. There was a clone that just came out yesterday, an exact copy called FOMO Stake. And if you look here, the first day, 5,355 BNB dumped into this thing on the first day. And people think, oh, this is less risky because it's brand new if I get in early. Well, not necessarily. But it did kind of take a lot of the funds from this one that was really rocking and rolling. You know, and if you look at this, and it's, you know, people knew it was coming. They were getting ready for the launch. It's pretty impressive that a clone copycat came out yesterday. Exact same thing without as nice of a user interface, almost exact. There are some slight differences. And I'll mention one in a minute that people again might think is an advantage, but it isn't necessarily an advantage. CryptoWare was an example of it. I'll get to that in a second. But I don't know if this is less than 24 hours, basically in one day, 5,355 BNB thrown into this thing, not necessarily a good sign. Could be, but not to me. And I'll tell you why. A lot of the money came from BNB stake success. So you see this, it says total BNB staked, and this says total contract balance. The difference between these two numbers is how much people have profited in BNB stake so far. And this just launched like 3 weeks ago. So if we go, I'll come back to FOMO stake in a second, the points I wanted to make. So if we go 41,000 has been totally staked, 667 minus, there's 15,016 in the contract now. That means that people have taken out, they have profited 26,651 BNB. And I know the prices are fluctuating right now. It's just $231 per BNB. You know, it was 260, but that's like 6,156,000 that's been profited by people who participated in this thing in the last few weeks since it's launched. That's crazy. And so some of it went over here into the clone, the copycat version FOMO stake when it launched yesterday, about 5,360 of it. Now, maybe some of this is new money, but I doubt it. Most everybody who came into the copycat came from BNB stake. That tells me that this contract here is really, really strong. And that suggests that, you know, what it has some people nervous, actually has me going, this is impressive. Because what could possibly, very possibly happen is a lot of this has received a surge of excitement, you know, because of everybody at BNB stake who already made money and think, oh, I'm going to get in early on this next one. But if this doesn't continue to compound and grow every day, some of this money is going to be pulled, and this continues to be strong, which it has. This has continued to hold pretty steady. It's kind of impressive. And if that's the case, a lot of this money might end up coming back over here. especially as the yields get higher and higher, because they're much higher because it's ahead of this one. Again, this one ticks up every day too. But I mean, if you see this one not continue to grow and compound, and you see this one continues to hold strong and even start ticking up, and it's paying much higher percentages, you're going to start taking some of that money and putting some of those profits back. And then there's the other money. Look, there's a lot more unaccounted for that's probably sitting in people's accounts like mine that are waiting to see what to do. Here's what I'm going to do. When this hits about 20% per day, I'm going to put what's in here that's been accumulating, and see it's added up since we talked about it last. In fact, let me hit refresh and see if it's added up even more. So that, I can't remember what it was last we looked at it, but it just keeps ticking up. When that gets, it'll probably be about 30 or so BNB, and I'm going to stick it in here when this hits 20% in a day and a half. Let's just see what that would be. 30 BNB at this will turn into 77.7 BNB in 14 days. But here's the thing: someone will say, well, let's say the balance doesn't last 14 days, doesn't stay strong, because see, look, it just went down a little bit. It's fluctuating. It's going to fluctuate to some degree, but it's very, very strong. So let's say it doesn't even make it to 14 days. There's still a lot of safety here, because check this out. 77, I'm going to make 77. I'm going to turn that into 77.7 BNB, right? You divide that by 14. So if I put 30 BNB in there, that's going to be 5.55 BNB I make per day. So it'd only take about 5 days, to get the 30 back, a little over 5 days, 5.2 days. You would get your 30 BNB back. Now I'm going to wait and put it in when this hits 20%, so I get it back a little faster. And I know there's a lot of people that are kind of waiting to, take some of the profits, and they've already taken it out. I haven't taken this one out. I've taken a lot out already. And a lot of people have taken BNB out of this thing, as we can see right here. Because again, the difference between these two numbers is the profit people have taken out. Some of them have put it into the new clone that launched, which again, I'm not that excited about, because there's a big surge of people who came into it. But if that doesn't sustain itself, that's not going to do what this one did, what the original did. And then you've got a lot of people like me that are sitting on it. Either they've taken it out and they're sitting on it, or they're sitting on it in here that plan on putting it in here as this gets higher. So, this is high risk. I'm not going to put my link here because I'm not going to recommend it to you guys, because I have projects that are low risk, I would say. And again, I'm not giving advice about investments. I don't want to recommend this to anybody because of the risk. But I wanted to set the record straight and let you know that it is not a Ponzi. I never said it was a Ponzi. A Ponzi is like a Beurax, where there's people who are promising that the investments are being made in a certain way, and it's just BS. The money's just coming in from a pyramid. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the pyramid in and of itself if people know that's what they're participating in. And if it's like a game like this, this is a game, it's a smart contract. It appears to be audited by an organization that's done a good job of building a strong reputation, has a good track record of even doing a rebuttal on their own audit before a company launched TronStake to call out something that they found in the code, and it turned out TronStake ran off with everybody's crypto. They were right. So it seems like a good auditor. Doesn't mean that they didn't make a mistake, but a lot of things when you look at this, it looks like a legitimate smart contract, like a game, and people can choose if they want to play or not. And I'm definitely playing, as you can see, with a lot of BNB. But here's what I want to get at. I'm able to play with a lot of BNB in this. I'm able to participate in a lot of things. Most of them I'm participating in have long-term sustainability. But I'm able to do that because I make a lot of Ethereum with an Ethereum smart contract that is not investment-based. It is not risk-based. So I can rely on it as income, following a duplicatable system that I literally hand to everybody on my team. Made over 800 Ethereum in my first 90 days with it, started in October, and much more since then. Team made over 12,000 Ethereum in their first 90 days, much, much more since then. Took my VA 3 days to count up what they made, put it on an Excel spreadsheet, and I had them stop counting at 12,000. I mean, if you go 12,000 times, whatever Ethereum is worth right now, is it worth 1,500, 1,600? It was at 2,000 at one point. That's a lot of loot. And so people were able to take that Ethereum that we're generating from that duplicatable process and put it into whatever projects they choose. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't advise people what to put it into that are investment based, but I share with people what I do. If you want to know how we're generating so much Ethereum with an income-based project, not a risk-based project, following a duplicatable system through online marketing where I literally hand you the content, tell you where to post it, and it just works, following exactly what I hand you, reach out to the person who posted this video. Their link will be below this video, and ask them, hey, what's that system that's generating Ethereum, that you guys are using to be able to invest in exciting projects? And they'll let you know. They'll show you exactly what we're doing. But, then the other projects that I really like, I like playing in some things like this, but I play with like 10% of what I'm playing with. The other bulk of what I'm doing is projects like I was mentioning, like Peak DeFi, which is a legitimate token traded on real exchanges. It's going to get listed on OKEX, a big one of the very large exchange later this month. And it's paying me, every second you see this ticking up. Like, I don't know if you can see this. This is a Peak token it's given me because I staked it. This is legitimate. This is long-term. This is sustainable. And I'm able to turn this into BNB or Ethereum or anything else, Bitcoin. So this is what I really want people to learn about. So I'm going to put a link below to a video that talks about that. If you haven't learned about legitimate staking, definitely do. But the projects I hone in on actually even have an extra boost compared to most sustainable staking projects, where there's a built-in referral component, and yet they're still legitimate in the DeFi space. And the referral component, again, if you tap into some of the duplicatable systems that I have in place, doesn't cost you a dime in advertising or anything. You just follow what I show you how to do, and you can earn a lot of free cryptocurrency through that model. But yeah, Peak Stake, I'll put a link below to that. Energy made about 50 grand this month by participating in this, and has a lot of potential. Another real project, real, not just a money game, but a real project. I'll put a link to that below as well. These are exciting projects with referral components attached to them, where if you follow the duplicatable marketing that I show you how to do, you're able to really win with this. So, that's what I can really help you with. So for example, I post videos. We post all kinds of videos to help you. Like, for example, a lot of people really having trouble right now getting on the Binance Smart Chain with their MetaMask, right? So they can start working with BNB and get lower gas prices, right? So we have these videos, and these are on more developed pages. I'm just back here in our Vimeo, but we have these videos. Robin created these to help people through that process. Now, we've set this up so that you can offer that kind of value we created to people that you're coming across. So when you post my videos, for example, like I give you videos that I create on various topics in the industry, like on BNB stake or whatever it may be, and you post my videos on your YouTube channel, even if it's for the first time on your YouTube channel, and then you have your links underneath. I show you how to do all of this, super simple. And those leads come to you. You get to plug them into all this value that we have for them. Like a lot of people, they don't know how to set up Binance Smart Chain on their MetaMask, especially if they're in the US, it's a little bit more complicated, but we have videos that you can plug them into. You get to take credit for all that value. We also have a group you could request to get added to, where we share with you like what the next exciting project coming out is. And share with you why we're choosing to get involved with different programs that we are, and then show you how you can use my marketing to make tons of Ethereum, Bitcoin, Peak token that can be turned into BNB or Ethereum, these different projects that we're doing just by getting added to our chat. And you can add people who reach out to you if you want to duplicate this process. So do click the link below, reach out to the person who referred you here if you like any of that I've shared with you, particularly how we're generating so much Ethereum with an income-based process that pays in Ethereum, just following a duplicatable system. But again, back to BNB stake, it's not most likely a shenanigan group who's going to run off the crypto. It's a game. And as long as there's money in the balance, there's the opportunity to be able to capitalize on it. And right now I've got quite a bit tied up in here, and I'm going to keep letting it add up. And when this gets to 20%, because this ticks up 0.5% every day, when this gets to 20% in a couple of days, a day and a half, I'm going to go ahead and put whatever I have in here and put a little bit more in there, because within 5 days, I'm going to get whatever I put in back. And I'm willing to take that gamble and play the game. But this is only 10%. What I have in here is only 10% of what I have in my portfolio. Peak DeFi, This is a long-term sustainable real project. Energy made 50 grand in this month. Exciting prospects with that going forward because it's a long-term sustainable project. Learn about these. We'll put links below, and reach out to us at the link below and ask us, how do we generate so much Ethereum that's non-risk based, that's not investment based, that allows us to participate in these programs? And by the way, if you want to play in this, just realize it's a risk. It's a game. And all you got to do is search BNB stake and find someone's affiliate link. I know Joshua Elder has his. I'm not going to put mine there because I don't want it to cloud my message. You know, where I really want to show people how to win with a sustainable process, how to make a lot of Ethereum with our duplicatable system, and then put it into projects like this without it being a big deal if they do end up going belly up. But then also, I don't want it to distort my message about these sustainable projects that pay a lot of cryptocurrency, that last the test of time, that just keep paying you, that aren't going to go belly up because they are legitimate programs. So again, I'm not anti BNB stake. It's a game. It looks to be a legitimate project. It doesn't look like there's a group of people that are setting this up to run off with your crypto, but it is high risk, obviously. And it's one that I'm having fun with at this time. And, I'll keep you posted.